Love is the bedrock of any thriving marriage. It is the essential element that forms the core of a lasting and fulfilling relationship. Without love, the connection between two people can become weak and brittle, unable to withstand the challenges that life inevitably brings. As it is written in 1 Corinthians 13:4-7, "Charity suffereth long and is kind, charity envieth not, charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in the truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things." It's the lifeblood that nourishes, strengthens, and binds two hearts together. Love is not just a fleeting emotion, but a deep, enduring commitment that requires effort and dedication from both partners. Ephesians 5:25 instructs, "Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it." Without love, a marriage becomes a fragile shell, vulnerable to life's inevitable storms. These storms can come in many forms: financial difficulties, health issues, or personal disagreements. But with love, couples can weather these storms together, emerging even stronger. As Ecclesiastes 4:9-10 reminds us, "Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow, but woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up." The Bible, in its wisdom, offers profound guidance on love within marriage, particularly emphasizing the husband's role in nurturing this vital bond. It teaches that love is patient and kind, never envious or boastful, and always seeks the best for the other person. Colossians 3:19 advises, "Husbands, love your wives, and be not bitter against them." The scriptures teach us that love is not merely a feeling, but a commitment, a daily choice to cherish and prioritize our spouse. This commitment involves actively listening, showing empathy, and being present in each other's lives. 1 Peter 4:8 states, "And above all things have fervent charity among yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins." It's about putting their needs before our own, seeking their well-being, and demonstrating tenderness, respect, and understanding. Acts of kindness, no matter how small, can significantly strengthen the marital bond. As Proverbs 31:10-11 says, "Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil." This type of love creates a safe and nurturing environment where both partners can flourish. In such an environment, trust and mutual respect grow, allowing the relationship to deepen and mature over time. As Song of Solomon 8:7 beautifully puts it, "Many waters cannot quench love, neither can the floods drown it. If a man would give all the substance of his house for love, it would utterly be contemned." The Bible provides a powerful example for husbands in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25. This verse is a cornerstone for understanding the depth and nature of a husband's love and responsibility towards his wife. "Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it." Ephesians 5:25. "Husbands, love your wives, just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her." This command is not just about affection, but about a profound, self-giving love that mirrors the love Christ has for his followers. This verse sets a high standard, calling husbands to emulate Christ's sacrificial love for his church. It challenges men to go beyond the ordinary, to act with compassion, kindness, and a willingness to serve. "So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself." Ephesians 5:28. Christ's love was selfless, unconditional, and unwavering. He demonstrated this through his actions, always putting the needs of others before his own. He willingly endured suffering and sacrifice for the sake of his beloved. This kind of love requires strength, patience, and a deep commitment to the well-being of one's spouse. Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband. Ephesians 5:33. In the same way, husbands are called to love their wives sacrificially, putting their needs and well-being above their own. This is not just a duty, but a privilege to reflect the divine love in everyday life. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25 says, "Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it." This verse is not advocating for a domineering or oppressive role for husbands. Instead, it calls for a deep, sacrificial love that mirrors the love Christ has for the church. This love is not about control or power, but about nurturing and cherishing your spouse. Rather, it's a call to servant leadership, modeled after Christ's own example. Christ's leadership was marked by humility and service, not by seeking his own advantage. As stated in Matthew 20:28, even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but to minister, and to give his life a ransom for many. Christ, despite his authority, humbled himself and washed the feet of his disciples. John 13:14-15 says, "If I, then your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, ye also ought to wash one another's feet, for I have given you an example that ye should do as I have done to you." This act of washing feet was a powerful symbol of his willingness to serve others, even in the most menial tasks. This verse emphasizes the profound commitment and selflessness required in marriage. It calls for a love that is patient, kind, and always seeks the best for the other person. As 1 Corinthians 13:4-5 states, "Charity suffereth long and is kind, charity envieth not, charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil." It's about considering your wife's needs as important as your own, seeking her good, and putting her well-being above your own desires. Philippians 2:3-4 reminds us, "Let nothing be done through strife or vainglory, but in lowliness of mind let each esteem other better than themselves. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others." Demonstrating love through acts of service, kindness, and understanding is essential. This kind of love builds a strong, enduring relationship that reflects the love of Christ. As Galatians 5:13 says, "For brethren, ye have been called unto liberty. Only use not liberty for an occasion to the flesh, but by love serve one another." The ripple effect of love. A husband's love for his wife has a ripple effect, impacting not only their marriage but their entire family. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. Ephesians 5:25. Children, observing this loving dynamic, learn about healthy relationships, respect, and empathy. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Proverbs 22:6. A husband's love creates a stable and nurturing home environment where children feel secure and loved. And above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness. Colossians 3:14. It provides a model for their future relationships, teaching them the importance of love, commitment, and respect in any partnership. And be ye kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God for Christ's sake hath forgiven you. Ephesians 4:32. Building a legacy of love. By embracing the biblical call to love their wives, husbands build a legacy that extends beyond themselves. Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. Ephesians 5:25. They create stronger marriages, healthier families, and above all these things put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness. Colossians 3:14. And ultimately a more loving society. This love, rooted in selflessness and service, has the power to transform individuals, families, and communities. Let all your things be done with charity. 1 Corinthians 16:14. It's a testament to the enduring power of love, a force that binds, heals, and now abideth faith, hope, charity, these three. But the greatest of these is charity. 1 Corinthians 13:13, and inspires us to live more fulfilling and meaningful lives.